The U.S. Army is currently embroiled in an investigation stemming from a young private's connection to the base, a white supremacist group openly recruiting soldiers for a so-called race war. This incident underscores a growing concern about the persistence of far-right extremism within the military, a concern amplified by recent policy shifts and historical precedent. The investigation's genesis lies in the private's following of the base's secretive TikTok account, boasting a mere 30 followers. This account, a recruiting tool for the organization, showcases disturbing content. Endorsements of assassination and sabotage in Ukraine, blatant neo-Nazi iconography, and explicit plans to establish platoon-sized units of highly dedicated, trained men. Further investigation into the private's Instagram revealed a penchant for airsoft gun enthusiasm and World War II reenactments, specifically portraying members of Germany's Nazi-era Wehrmacht. This convergence of online activity and personal interests raises serious questions about the soldiers' ideological alignment and potential threat to national security. Joshua Fisher-Birch, a leading expert on far-right extremism and the base, highlighted the account's promotion of accelerationism, a dangerous ideology advocating for the destabilization of society to hasten the arrival of a preferred political order. Fisher-Birch emphasized the account's call to action, urging potential recruits to join the base to connect with others and exploit societal collapse. The private's following of this account, therefore, represents a clear and present danger, indicating potential sympathy with or active involvement in a violent extremist organization. This incident comes against a backdrop of evolving Pentagon policies regarding extremism within the ranks. In February 2023, the Department of Defense, DoD, issued a memo halting a significant counter-extremism initiative designed to root out white nationalists and far-right influences. This decision, purportedly in line with previous executive orders, has cast doubt on the efficacy of current efforts to combat extremism within the military. The memo's release followed the January 6th Capitol Hill insurrection, where at least 151 attackers had military backgrounds, prompting a historic stand-down order and the creation of new Pentagon policies by December 2021. These policies primarily focused on regulating soldiers' social media activity, aiming to identify and curtail affiliations with extremist organizations. However, critics argue that these policies are insufficient and lack the necessary enforcement mechanisms. The current administration's apparent prioritization of combating woke ideologies over addressing far-right extremism has raised serious concerns. This shift in focus is exemplified by the appointment of key figures within the Pentagon with known ties to Christian nationalism, further fueling anxieties about a lack of genuine commitment to eradicating extremism from within the military. One prominent example is Pete Hegseth, whose alleged extremist tattoos were reported by a service member, highlighting the potential for bias and selective enforcement. Heidi Barrich, co-founder of the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism, succinctly stated, "I think it's pretty obvious that soldiers interested in the far right have less to fear. Hegseth has made it clear he doesn't care about this issue." The consequences of neglecting far-right extremism within the military are profound and potentially catastrophic. The historical record is replete with examples of military veterans involved in acts of domestic terrorism. Timothy McVeigh, the mastermind behind the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, a horrific event that claimed 168 lives, was a Desert Storm veteran who even attempted to join U.S. Army Special Forces. This underscores the chilling reality that individuals with military training and experience can pose an exceptionally grave threat when radicalized. The recent conviction of Brandon Russell, a former National Guardsman and white supremacist group leader, for plotting to sabotage Baltimore's electrical grid, serves as another stark warning. Similarly, the sentencing of 2 former Marines for a neo-Nazi plot to attack the northwestern U.S. power grid highlights the persistent and evolving threat posed by far-right extremism within the military. These are not isolated incidents. They represent a pattern of concerning activity that demands immediate and decisive action. The case of the young private following the base's TikTok account is not merely an isolated incident. It's a symptom of a larger, more insidious problem. The lack of robust counter-extremism initiatives, coupled with a perceived prioritization of other agendas, creates a breeding ground for radicalization and violence. The Army's investigation into this specific case must be thorough and transparent, serving as a catalyst for a fundamental reassessment of the Pentagon's approach to combating far-right extremism within its ranks. Failure to address this issue decisively risks not only the safety and security of the nation, but also the integrity and moral standing of the U.S. military itself. The potential for future attacks, mirroring the devastating acts of domestic terrorism perpetrated by individuals with military backgrounds, remains a very real and present danger. A comprehensive, unwavering commitment to eradicating extremism from within the military is no longer a matter of debate. It is a critical imperative for national security. The time for decisive action is now, before another tragedy unfolds. The lives of countless Americans depend on it.